What's up, guys? I want to bring you a video today of a piece of what I consider essential gear for reloading precision rifle. This isn't necessarily needed if you're just going to reload rifle, and it's definitely not needed if you just do pistol. This is more for precision rifle, so you can trim your brass. Basically, I trim it after every loading. So that's not necessary if you're just reloading, like I said, rifle for hunting, plinking kind of stuff. But when you start getting into precision, I'm not probably as thorough as some guys are as far as precision loading. I don't weigh every bullet and sort them by weight, and I don't weigh cases and primers. I know a lot of guys do, and that's how you do get extreme accuracy out of it. But I do trim every loading. So this was a kind of a product that I brought up in a live chat with Rich, and Kodo Boy showed some interest in it. So Kodo Boy, if you're watching, hopefully this will let you know about it, what you need to know if you want to buy it or not. But good piece of gear. I've been using it for actually a few years now, and like I said, I had to buy it once I got into precision shooting. And like I said, I'll show you how it works. It's basically a real simple system. I did a little bit of research on it before I bought it, and this was the best one I could find that would lock into place and give you a consistent trim length. I know RCBS has a station too, but they don't necessarily like. I couldn't see where they'd lock in and set a length for you. Just had the kind of the trimming die. Same thing with like handheld units, or the crank units do set with the RCBS, but they're hand crank. I had one and it was really awkward to use, or at least I didn't have the drill attached or anything on it, but I just didn't care for it, especially when you're gonna do, say, prep 150 rounds or something. It's a long, tedious process, and I'll show you how easy this one works. It's basically got your four stations. It's got one to like kind of chain for the inside, chain for the outside, trim, and then your primer pocket cleaner. And these are all changeable. These just screw in with standard threads, like anything from your like RCBS or Lyman or whatever that fits on the little handheld screwdriver will thread into these. This comes with a bunch of collets for different size brass that you're going to resize. So it'll go from like 223 up to probably well, it shows up to 458 here on their chart. So it looks like it goes from 17 all the way to 458. And then they have collets for small, medium, and large casings, which is this plastic collet or whatever, how it goes in. So you got a small for like 223, medium for like 308, and then a large magnum for probably like 7 mag, stuff like that, like belted magnum cases. So how it works basically is you take this is just resized brass that's been fired, but it's been resized. And if they're over length, I didn't measure these, like I said, because I don't measure. I trim every one. So I'll show you how easy it is. Once you resize your brass, basically you just stick it in here. And that one's actually sized, so it's not trimming anything. So that one's 2 size. Let's see if I can get a long one here. Okay, that one there. So you hear it kind of shave. And like I said, I trim these every time, so they're not really going to be out of spec by too much. But that one did trim. So what you do now is you just basically stick it in there, get your chamfer, there, smooth the outside, flip it around, clean your primer pocket, and at that point it's a completely trimmed, resized piece of brass down to 2005 or whatever trim length. So we just go along the line, and this is basically what I sit here and do. I usually set this up out in the garage, but I put it up here because it's easier to video, and my garage is a mess anyway, and I didn't want that on camera. But basically what you see here do, like I said, this is how easy it is, and you got basically like back to a factory new brass. At this point, it's completely the right size. See that one trimmed there pretty decent, and like I said, once you trim it, it creates a real flat edge that's not really, it'll actually shave the copper off the bullet if you try to load that. So what you do that to create like a little bit of a angle in there so the bullet will slide in, because you don't flare rifle brass like you do pistol brass. So once it's resized to the bullet size. So you need to have that little ledge there, kind of cuts in like a 45 or whatever angle that is, to get that bullet to slide down when you're seating it. So that shows you, like I said, how much time this thing saves if you're trimming brass. Like I said, not necessary. So you just go till basically it stops like that. And it's completely adjustable. There's a little micrometer dial that you set your length with. So the first time, you know, you put your piece of brass in, you'll measure it with calipers, and if you're long, you'll basically screw it in until it starts making contact, and then you'll just adjust. It's actually marked by thousandths on the outside, how much you need to go in. And then, like I said, once you get it set up, you lock this collar in and it stays there. So now there's no need to reset every time you're trying to trim a piece of brass. See that one trimmed? And like I said, so it's so much easier than doing it by hand. Hand trimming, even these tools, when you're doing everything by hand, you know, you're having 3 separate tools that you got to sit there and hand do. So if you're sitting here doing, like I said, 100, 150 at a time, it saves so much time to do it with this automated piece. And like I said, this is the Franklin Arsenal Platinum Case Trimmer Prep Center, is what it is. And like I said, that's how fast you can basically build what I consider, you know, like a match piece of brass, because these are all uniform length now. They're all trimmed. They're all primer pockets are cleaned. They're chamfered on the inside and the outside, and they're at this point ready to prime, powder, and load. But that's how fast it can be done, as opposed to, you know, hand cranking each one, flopping the little lever off, putting the next piece in, you know, hand cranking. This saves so much time and energy in this prep center doing it that way. So like I said, it's only necessary if you're doing precision stuff, or if you do a lot of rifle shooting. Eventually your rifle brass is going to get over length and it's got to be trimmed, and it may be after 2 loadings, 3 loadings, you know, depending on how hot you're making your ammunition. It'll stretch more, obviously, with a higher load. So anyways, guys, another thing I would like to give a shout out. Thanks, I hit 400 subscribers today, so thanks Rich, thanks Toto Boy, thanks Crazy Scotsman, all you guys putting it out there, you know, sending viewers my way. All you guys watching, I hope you enjoy some of the videos I do. Like I said, I just do it for fun. I like to pass on some of the knowledge, especially some of the gear I mess with that I like. Because there's a lot of gear, like we all do, we buy and you know, don't turn out right, and we just kind of stuff it in a closet somewhere. So when you have a good piece of gear, you kind of want to pass it on, you know, that others don't make the mistake of buying something you did that you didn't care for, didn't work right. But this thing's definitely paid for itself as far as time goes. You know, I've loaded lots and lots of rounds to this thing as far as trim goes. And like I said, off my RCBS, when I first started doing precision, my hand trimmer was mounted down. In fact, I still have it here somewhere. But you know, that thing, it works, but it just, man, it was a long, tedious process. And then after I trimmed, then I'd have to get this tool out, you know, chamfer the inside, go through all, you know, 100 pieces, whatever I'm loading, then grab them all again and chamfer the outside, you know, by hand, put them all down. Then I had to clean all the primer pockets by hand, you know, put them all down. So at this point, I touch this piece of brass one time, and I trim, chamfer inner, outer, and clean the primer pockets. Where if I do 100 rounds, I pick up 100 pieces of brass, and they're done. If I do it the old way, I'd literally have to touch that brass 400 times, because I'd have to trim it, trim all 100, chamfer the inside, all 100, outside, all 100, you know. So it's basically, it saves the steps. It cuts it, you know, down by 4 times of handling that brass. So anyways, guys, I hope this helped you guys out. If you're interested, if you were looking, this is definitely a solid unit. Like I said, I looked at the RCBS before I bought this, and I like the way this locked into place and set up. You know, maybe RCBS has something out there like this now, or somebody else does, but at the time, this did everything I wanted it to do. And it was fairly reasonable back then. I can't remember what I paid for it. It's been so long, but if I had to take a guess, I would say it's in like the $150 range, somewhere in there. But like I said, money well spent. I'd buy it again, because doing the shooting I do, it's just invaluable, you know, as far as time savings go. So anyways, hope you like it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.